and welcome back to Legil and Paul von Hollenstein. And once more, we are ordered to stop some reinforcements from taking part in the battle. As we see, we are already getting shot, so before we go into the siege, we need to conduct this small skirmish against Russian reinforcements, and that is exactly what we're about to do. We're gonna go through this water, and then we're gonna attack them from the flank, and hopefully this will work out just fine. Although I have my doubts. Got one of them. And now for the sword. Cut them down, gentlemen. Oh yes, ride straight down into the water, will you? Where are you going? Fine. Get lost in the sea then. Oh, he's drowning himself. Down you go. Down you go. And down you go. And now to deal with the infantry. Standing on a rock won't save you. Certainly not. Ah. The key is to keep moving. Ah. He dishorsed me, the bastard. Cavalry, to me! There's only 3 of them left. Shouldn't be that hard for you guys to get them. Ah, how about you, sir? And now one last bastard. Completely unaware. And we took those guys down. Now on to the siege, shall we? We'll have to borrow someone's horse. Or possibly could even, you know, hitch a ride, I guess. Wait, you know what? Here's a horse. Right. Off we go, lads. We are needed at the front line. Didn't I tell you guys to follow me? Right. To the siege we go. Our guns have fallen silent, and it's time to begin the assault. The men are streaming forth and are ready to attack the enemy's position. I will take my hussars. Wait, am I in control of everyone? Or just a cavalry? Seemingly I'm in control of quite a bit of men. Anyways, the men that I have taken control of, we're gonna move towards the left-hand side, and the idea is to break through there and by the cover be able to open up the flank and in that way support the units moving towards the center, as the center is gonna need that support. Right, I think we've got a lot better spread on the men. Oh, I'm under fire. Seemingly most men are still sort of dragging on towards attacking the right side, so I'm guessing I'm gonna have to go in and attack this on my own. Let's give everyone the order to fire at will. We can see the enemy firing from the battlements. It's a fierce battle. Oh, this bastard is just about to reload. Shit. Oop. Think you can shoot me without suffering the consequences? Time to go in. Ah. Hard fighting men. Ah. 3 bastards on me. Well, I managed to get through even without support, although I took quite a few hits. Better reload my pistols before we go in for the final charge. We need to tell the men to close range if they are to succeed here. We've got a bit of a strong point here, lots of Russians. Need to get in and help the hussars. Come on, my hussars. There we go, lads. Get in over the top. Forwards. In over the top. Spike those guns. And go ahead and use... let's see. No, that's wrong. Use weapon at will. This is one of our flags. Let not the Prussian flag fall to the ground. Right, forwards, men. Get them. Cut them asunder. The town will fall to us. Forwards. Victory is just around the corner. It's an absolute slaughterhouse. Get more men over here. We need everyone now. Oh, block me, will you? I'll try that again, you bastard. Cut them down. Oh, no you don't. Ah! Outnumbered. There's too many of them. Where is my support? Better pull back unless I... Oh! The battle continued to rage all around him as Paul von Hollenstein was drifting in and out of consciousness. Several hours later, Paul von Hindenburg found himself back at the siege camp. It seems as though after it fell unconscious, some charitable soul has carried him all the way back to the siege camp. From hearing the other soldiers talking, it seemed that though the first assault on the walls had failed, but there would be an attempt again tomorrow, seeing as though how few defenders there were left, and they could clearly see that the end of the siege was just around the corner. Just a bit more bombardment, and then another go the next morning would do. Paul obviously didn't want to miss that, but at the same time, he still felt the sore wound in the back of his head, and he took quite a bit of a beating as he cut his way through the front lines. Probably better to stick more to the back and direct the soldiers in the next assault. But for now, he was better to rest in his tent and wait for the next morning. Early the next morning, an attack went in. He could see the men streaming forwards, and he could not help himself but to join the assault, even though he was still recovering from the blow to the back of his head. I cannot miss this chance of glory. It is impossible. As they closed in, they could tell that the resistance was not as fierce as during the first attack. Seemingly, they had no reinforcements or reserves to pull back to the front or pull up to the front to make sure that we weren't going to be able to push through. Still, people were falling as the advance went closer and closer to the wall. Keep the banners high, men. We are men of Prussia, and we will not allow ourselves to be defeated by these Russian dogs. Everyone at your swords and bayonets. Victory lies before us. And the command was given to return fire upon the enemy. A tremendous roar rang out as the volleys echoed in over the enemy, and the smoke made it feel thick as though a mist had rolled in off the sea. Fight hard, men! Victory is with us! The god of fortune smiles upon us! The flank's clear! Push in towards the center! Attack them right at the strong point! We can break through! Paul von Hindenburg still wanting to take part, but he didn't want to close in to close quarters, as he still was not feeling strong enough for it. Keep up the fighting, gentlemen. Soon we'll be dining in Moscow at this rate. The Royal Hussars, what are they doing here? Who are they, Royal Hussars? I'm pretty sure this is Guard Hussars. Could be someone of royal blood being within the walls. Or a royal message, perhaps, to the general staff. Nice. Now, let's clear off the walls and claim victory, shall we? There's only a few Russians left on the front lines. They only hold the furthest most bastion. And if we clear that out, victory shall be ours. And the bloodlust and the lust for glory had gripped Paul, and so he threw himself onto the enemy. Although he threw himself by going all the way around. No! Not my fellow hussars! Victory was theirs, but it had come at a grave cost. The Prussian army had lost a lot of men taking this town, but so had the Russians. Victory is our, gentlemen. The town has fallen. After the battle, Paul von Hollenstein was called to appear in the General Staff quarters together with a number of other distinguished officers and meet with the Field Marshal Gerhard von Scharnhorst. Ah, I see you again, Paul von Hollenstein. I'm correct, am I not, Lieutenant? I will not forget the seeing you there on the battlements at Grodno, cutting your way through those Russian dogs. You certainly earn a medal or two with the kind of goings you have. I see a bright future within the military for you. Anyways, I think it's high time that we celebrate the victory. Why don't someone bring out the wine? Yes? A few hours later, Paul found himself in a tavern, contemplating the day's events. Even though his body was aching in seemingly every bone, he couldn't help but feel an immense joy over the day's events. The Field Marshal himself had mentioned him during the debriefing, and not only that, he'd commended him, and even said, the words he uttered, he would never forget this day. This was indeed the best day of my life. But, given as it was that I'd taken such a tremendous beating during the battle, it was high time to get some well-deserved rest. I'd probably have to stay within a town for maybe at least a week, maybe more, to conserve and consolidate my strength and get back in order. But as the general himself put it, he had a bright future ahead of him within the Prussian military.